Hello everyone. Today I am going to show the DevOps end-to-end demo. Here I have choose the application called as visa.nl. I will be showing and giving more information about what has been done and what has been covered. Right now I'm making changes to the code. Let me make the change. I'm making the changes to the code. Yeah. Once the code, so I have committed the code. I'm pushing the code to GitHub. So the code has been successfully pushed. Let us see whether it is reflecting here. So before 25 seconds, this code has been pushed and it is reflecting here. Right now I'm navigating to the Jenkins. So if you see, a build has been automatically triggered here. Let me go to the console output. In the console output, if you see, this has been automatically triggered by git push. So before that, I want to show another thing. So this is the Docker container for Linux environment. So here you can see that there are no images or no containers here. So I'm closing it. And another thing I want to confirm is this container is a Linux container. See, if you see here, it is showing as a Docker container has switched to Windows container. Since it is a Linux container, it is showing as Windows container. So the GitHub push has been done and the test case execution has started. Let me say what is covered in this DevOps uh, end-to-end scenario testing. A code which has been changed in the local environment will be pushed to the GitHub. From GitHub, it is integrated to Jenkins. In Jenkins, once the push notification has been received, the build will be generated and jar file will be generated for Windows environment and it gets executed in the Windows environment. Right now, you are seeing the Windows build and execution. So this has been triggered and tests have started running. So once the Windows build and test execution completes, the Linux environment creation, Linux Docker environment creation, such as installing Java, Maven, and Chrome, which is required for running the test cases, the environment will be created inside the Linux Docker container. Once the environment is created, the test case execution will begin using in the container. Basically, the Linux Docker image will be created, and that image will be called by the container, and the execution will start. As you see here, it has executed in the Windows environment. If you see the log which is printing is Windows environment, and these are the test steps which are involved, and the test case has been successfully passed. So to speak about the DevOps environment, DevOps end-to-end scenario. So there are multiple stages involved. In the local environment, that is my local system, a code change occurs and a push as will be made to the GitHub. And from GitHub, there is an integration with Jenkins. Right now, we are in Jenkins page. And in Jenkins page, it will trigger the notification. If any push notification happens from GitHub, the build generations will trigger. Then in Windows, the execution will begin and jar will be created. Once the jar is created, Linux environment will be created, such as Java installation, Maven installation, and Chrome installation, which are mandatorily required for running the test cases. Once the Linux Docker environment is created, test case will be triggered in the Linux Docker container through the image, just what we are creating now. Apart from that, if you, I want to show you another thing. Let me go to the extent report. The Windows environment has just now completed, and if you see the extent report, the extent report has been generated. So let me speak about the extent report. So this is the new version of extent report, and all the steps has been logged, and this test case has been passed. So right now, the downloading of the mandatory things or prerequisites required for running the test cases is in progress. So to speak more about the framework itself, the framework is basically built upon page object model, which has been incorporated with the Cucumber BBD model. So, in which extend report is used, Webdrivermanager is used. Webdrivermanager will take care of downloading the drivers for the latest browsers, and in the extend report, if a test case fails, a screenshot will be placed in the extend report. And yeah, extend report. And one additional feature is failure re-triggering feature. For example, if a test case failure happens, the framework will take care of that, and it will re-trigger for the whatever user has mentioned, how many times user has mentioned. For that many times, the test case re-triggering will happen. So this is about the framework. Regarding the test case itself, regarding the test case, I have choose the application called as visa.nl. In visa.nl, and what the test will do is it will navigate to the home page. In home page, there will be once landing on the home page, there will be accept or reject cookies. A reject cookies button will be clicked, and it will navigate to the innovation module. In innovation module will be clicked, and it will be navigated to consumer module. In consumer module, it will validate whether it is in the right page, and once that validation is done, it will navigate to the products submodule. In product submodule, it will retrieve all the products which are displayed. Once the product is displayed, it will be validated against the user input. If both matches, the test case will be passed and validated. So this is about positive scenario. For the DevOps end-to-end scenario, I have taken only the positive scenario, because if any failed cases, if negative scenario is included, the test case will fail, and build generation will not happen. There will be interruption in the end-to-end scenario. And at the end of the demo, I will be showing how this same test case is being triggered in the UI, and what are the steps involved. What are the steps involved will be explained, and I will also show how the Cucumber BBD helps. For example, if you want to want to include test cases, how easily it can be done, how the negative scenarios are captured, everything will be part of this demo. So one thing is, while creating the Docker, I have choose to download the latest version of Chrome. Hence, even if Chrome browser is being newly released, it will be downloaded, and always this will be dynamic. So this DevOps end-to-end scenario covers both execution as well as in Windows environment as well as in Linux environment. And I have also created test script for removing the images and containers, which I have not included here, because I want to show at the end of this demo that actually the images, Docker images for Linux environment and Docker container for Linux environment has been created. So suppose if a test case fails, a user can mention how many times the test case can be retried or retried, and that many times the failed test cases will be retried. So those will also be included as part of this demo. So this end-to-end scenario has been automated in such a way that no manual intervention or nothing is being needed. Everything has been taken care by the testing frameworks, and in the DevOps concept, everything has been automated. So this jar will be called inside the Docker image, Linux Docker image, and this jar will be triggered, which will execute the Linux test scripts in the Linux environment. So the Docker execution text logs has been included and in the Docker image itself, and in the extend report also the logs will be included and failed screenshots will be created. Right now the image has been created, and it is moving to the next stage of the pipeline, that is Jenkins build generation pipeline, that is execution of the test cases. Right now, test cases inside the Docker container execution has begun. So we are calling the generated custom image inside the container, and test case execution has begin. As you see, it is showing as OS Linux, and these are the test steps which are getting. So the test step has passed. So I will just say what has happened, summarize what has happened. So inside the Linux container, this test case has been executed and it has been passed. And if you go to the beginning, the GitHub install. This is the GitHub installation part where the GitHub notification has been received and this build generation has been automatically triggered by the Git push. Once that is done, it is executing the test scripts in Windows environment and creating the jar for the Linux environment. So these are the test steps which are required for the Windows execution steps for the Windows environment and which has been executed. Let me show now. So first, let us go to the images page, and custom image visa is the image which has been created. So this image has been used by this container and Linux in the Linux Docker, and the test case has been executed in this container. So right now I'm going to execute the test case in the UI so that it will be clear that how it gets executed in the UI. So the build generation process is in progress and test case execution is beginning. So it is started running the test case. So this is the UI part which I have shown. So it will initially navigate to the visa.nl page. It is maximizing the browser and it is navigating to visa.nl page. From here, the cookies button is being reject cookies button is being clicked, and the innovation module is being clicked. So it is navigating to consumer module. In consumer module to products, it is retrieving, and these are the products which are retrieved from the application, products which are retrieved from the application, and validated the products are displayed and a test step has passed. Now I will go to the extent report. So it is generated newly at 12:32. So here, this is the extent report which has been generated. This is the new version of extent report. Let me close this. Now this is the scenario which we have created. We have created and we have executed in Windows environment as well as in uh, Linux Docker container. Let me create a new test case. So let us say that validating the product details. Let me remove this completely. One product I'm removing it. So I'm saving it. So this feature file has been saved. So there are two test cases. I have not modified any code. I have just entered the new test case, validating the products for negative scenario, and let's see how this execution goes now. So here the in the framework which will capture the failed test cases as well as the retry function which is used will be shown here. So this is executing for the positive scenario. So the positive scenario has been executed. Right now the negative scenario has been triggered and it is getting executed. So both the scenarios are complete now. So here the retry function has been called. Since the negative scenario has failed, it is retrying for one more time, which is mentioned in the file. So let us see the extend report, how it looks. So it says that 3 times the test case has run and one failure and one skipped. So these are the 3 times which it has run. So this is for positive scenario. If you see the home page, these are the test steps which are there, which is being logged. And if you go to the negative scenario, if you see there is an image captured for this failed test step. Let me click on this image. This is the page where the failure has occurred. So in the similar way, for the third thing, the test case has been executed. So to summarize, a framework based upon page object model, which is incorporated with Cucumber BBD, is being developed, and the DevOps end-to-end scenario has been shown as part of this demo. Thanks for watching.